listening to Retro Station, a retro game podcast.
David usually doesn't like point-and-click adventure games because pointing and clicking at the same time takes too much coordination for him.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Retro Station, a retro game podcast. I'm David.
I'm Hilary.
And I'm Steven.
And today we're going to be talking about Broken Sword, The Shadow of the Templars on the Game Boy Advance, which is very different from other games that we have played here. Of course, we've only played, 8 games now? So maybe that's not that weird to say.
Nope, this is our 10th episode.
10th. This is number 10. You're right.
But one episode we played 9 games.
Yep.
Oh, you're good. Yeah. You know what? Math was never my strong point, and that continues to this day. All right, so, Hilary, what have you been up to?
I played this game a little bit, and then...
Cried for a while.
Yeah, and I'll get into it later where I should talk about the game, but I played a few other games this week. I went back to playing the Pokemon Fire Red some more. There's another game that I tried to play, but it didn't work on the handheld I have, so I have to try and see how else I can play that game. So,
how many badges do you got now?
I'm just at one. I'm at the Moon Mountain, so
Gotcha.
When I'm playing it like 15 minutes or so at a time, so I'm not staying for long periods of time with that one.
Are you talking about Professor Layton? Is that the one you tried to play that you couldn't?
Yeah.
Don't worry.
And what starter did you pick?
Charmander.
Charmander. Oh, that's a tough start.
Yeah.
With the first two.
I didn't even realize, because I heard about this in another podcast, that of the whatever game, I think they're talking about Red and Blue at that time, but the 3 Pokemon, some of them are just easier to start with than others.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
At the end, by the end it's probably okay, whatever, but I didn't realize that, if you pick a certain one at the beginning, you might have a tough time because, everything you're fighting is not weak to you or whatever.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I should have realized that, but I didn't.
So, you think about it, and you get Charmander, which is the fire Pokemon, Bulbasaur, which is the grass Pokemon, Squirtle's the water. Mm-hmm. Bulbasaur is the easiest start because the first gym is rock ground and the second gym is water.
I think that's what I heard.
Both have weaknesses to grass. Squirtle will be the next because you have a neutral second. Mm-hmm. And fire is, I think, pretty weak. They're not weak to...
They're not really weak to ground.
But they're not strong against it.
Yeah, they're not strong, and then they're...
And then obviously they're weak to water. So, but I think stat-wise, if you're getting into, competitive, Charmander is going to be the strongest of those 3. So, in the later things.
Yeah.
But you also have to think, when you pick Bulbasaur, and then you get into, one of the second areas, the Viridian Forest and stuff, you can get grass Pokemon super early. Water is you get medium once you get a fishing pole or to certain areas, and then fire is usually the hardest to find. Yeah. So there's arguments of starting with each. Yeah. And then obviously Gary's a dick and picks the one that is strong against you.
It's kind of an interesting way to balance it. It's kind of neat. All right. Well.
And then they had to handhold on the... I'm going to go into a rant. They had to handhold onto these new Pokemon games where they give you a partner that chooses the one that's weak to you.
Yeah.
Stop handholding.
I was ready to tell you that we don't do cuss-filled rants on this channel. So I'm glad you restrained yourself. I appreciate that, Steve. It felt so good. It felt really good, that X-Men. Really, really. Do you want to go next?
Did I interrupt you? Were you still going?
No, I'm good.
A lot of life happened this week. So we've been trying to figure that out. I played this game. I got a few hours into it, and we'll talk about that coming up. But I did play, one of the close runner-ups. I played Final Fantasy Tactics Advance to cleanse my palate a little. I didn't get too far into it. I got a few...
It's a big game.
Oh, yeah. I got a few quests in, and I remembered how kind of clunky some of the system is on that. So, but maybe we'll talk about that in the future.
It's been a long time since I played the original. Is the original clunky in the same way? Or because I know they have a little bit different systems from each other.
No, it is the fact that it's the different game. So there's laws, which are different from the first one. Laws, you go to jail if you break them. And then Advanced 2 has even something different. Like if you break the law, I think the judge just leaves and then your guys can permadie if they go down. But there's... either of you played Final Fantasy 9?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. You know when... They don't have job classes, right? But they have weapons and armor and stuff that you equip, and then you get certain points, and then once you get all those points, it unlocks like a skill, a permanent skill.
Yeah.
That's in Final Fantasy Advance. So in the regular Final Fantasy Tactics, you get job points, and then you can choose what you want to spend them in. Tactics Advance, you get job points that go towards the skill that is on your equipment, which are job-specific equipment. Some equipments can be for any job, but the perk that they give are only to certain jobs. So there's a lot more menu management, and it doesn't just necessarily tell you how far you are on that skill. If you look at the weapon, you have to go to like a very specific part that's separate from the weapon. And yeah, I don't know. When you're buying weapons, I don't know. Maybe when I was younger, I was a lot more... I have no clue the word that I'm looking for, but it seemed a little overly complicated.
I used to be a lot more patient in going through like
maybe that's
menu after menu and shifting things around. Like I could still kind of do it, but at some point I'm like, God damn it, this is a lot. I can't handle this.
That was my evening game to play before bedtime. I didn't really get to play much else. I played some phone games.
Phone games.
Yeah, I got on this new game. It's called Hexaway. It's like a puzzle game where they give you like a starting area and there's arrows pointed all different directions. And what's nice about it is some puzzle games you can get to a point where you're stuck.
Yeah.
Like there's no possible thing. Some puzzle games and stuff like that, they're like random. So depending on the day, the luck, the whatever, you might get to a puzzle that is almost near impossible.
Right.
Whereas this one, there's always a way. You just have to find it. And it gets difficult not because of the puzzle itself, but because you have a set amount of moves that you can use.
Oh, okay.
So as it gets more complicated, you can like shift the things around before you shoot them off and things like that. It's a fun, just brain teaser.
Yeah, sounds kind of cool.
Yeah. How about you?
I played a couple games outside of this one. So I've never been very familiar with the Sega Master System library. That's like the 8-bit competitor in quotes to the NES. And I found out there's an X-Men game on that 8-bit system.
Did you get burned enough?
Children, plug your ears.
Yeah, no. it's going to be okay. So it's called X-Men Mojo World. And let me tell you something. It's not a very good game. I got to the second level. It's okay. It has some flaws. I wouldn't necessarily say you should go out and play that game. That being said, I will play that game for 50 hours before I'll play the NES one for 10 minutes. Again, it is... the X-Men look like the X-Men. Fantastic. The team's pretty cool. You have like Wolverine, Gambit, Rogue, Havoc, and someone else that I haven't seen. I'm not sure. Way in the background, I can't even tell who it was. But that's a pretty neat team. Their powers are actually like Rogue can actually fly. Like you just have her like fly around the level and do stuff. You have like a limit to your power, but it seems like it drains real slow. So I could just like fly over the bad guys I want to and then drop down and punch.
Is it side scroller?
Side scroller.
Okay.
Yeah. The villains you fight actually kind of makes sense for the X-Men. Like the first ones you fight are like the Hellfire Club goons that are running around and you're in the sewer like they were in the Dark Phoenix saga. So you fight them, and then like the first boss is one of the I can't remember if it was Warwolves or Warhounds. Back when I was reading comics, they were still pretty obscure. They may be much more prominent now. I have no idea. But they're these like they look like metallic silver or wolf-like creatures. They're really odd, but the boss was like a big one of those. And so everything kind of makes sense. And after coming off the thing where you're fighting a tiger and all that stuff, it was a nice change of pace, and it is a lot better looking. I just don't know. Like, it's a pretty, at best, I'd say probably pretty average side-scrolling game. But yeah, comparatively, Oh, Chef's Kiss! It looks like amazing.
Your Sega is the SNES, right?
That one is like the NES equivalent.
Oh, NES.
That's before Genesis.
Gotcha.
In some ways, the Master System was more powerful than the Nintendo, and in some ways not. So it was kind of like a give and take. But it could, I think it was high resolution and could display more colors. So it could look prettier in some cases. Like they didn't always pull that off, but it could. And at least in terms of the X-Men, way better looking game. I don't know if that one was published by LJN2. I didn't actually take note of who published it, but yeah, way better. If I had that, if I'd gotten that for a gift, I wouldn't be totally pissed off like I was with, or would have been with the NES X-Men game. So that was nice. I also played Princess Crown on the Sega Saturn. Now, that's a Japanese import or Japanese game that I actually imported back in the day. It was one of the ones that a lot of people were importing. It's like a side-scrolling RPG. It's made by, to get an idea of the art style, if you've seen Unicorn Overlord on the Switch or Odin Sphere on the PlayStation 2 or PlayStation 3, that same company did it. It's a neat game, and when I played it on the Saturn, like you can get through it without knowing Japanese because you can just run around and fight things and just follow the map and go places if you want to. But I printed out like this tome of a translation. Like if you were in this city, the first guy you see is probably him, and he will say this. And I could only do that so long before I'm like, I can't do this anymore. So I just stopped. I stopped playing it. And then someone just in the last several months came out with a full fan translation. So I've been playing that. And I'm really liking it. There are some issues where if I use a save state and then I load from the save state, the sound is gone.
Good.
Wow. Rude.
Save states.
Save states. That's the way that we do things now. That's how. Listen, modern games you can save almost anywhere anyway, okay? So I'm just bringing some modern sensibility to some old games. But anyway, it's fun. And then when you're traveling out in an area where you could get in a fight, when you do get in a fight, it'll be like I don't know what they're called. Evil Mushroom appears, and it becomes like a fighting game. Like you each have a health bar at the top.
Weird.
And you have like certain moves you can do with your sword. It's not as smooth as like Street Fighter or anything, but it's really fun. And like you can pick apples, or they're not apples. There's some kind of weird fruit off the tree. Like you jump up and you grab them, and you can eat those in the middle of the battle for health. But you literally sit there and you take a bite and you chew. So you have to like time it well, or it's not going to work. And also, shops will not buy an apple that you've taken a bite out of, which is rude. I'm calling them apples. It's not accurate. But it does make sense. But it's really fun. I'm just a little ways into it. And even if I had to play without the sound, because I use save states like a non-Amish person does, it's great. Like it's better than not having it translated. So and as soon as I get to an actual save point, I just save, get out of the game, go back in, load. The only problem with that is when you get into the game, you have to do this little sequence where you are this little girl and you pick up a book off the floor and you take it to your grandma for her to read it to you, and then it opens up the save menu. And I'm like, this is tedious to do every time, but it's cute. It's cute, but it's gorgeous. If you haven't seen it, go look up Princess Crown. It's really, really pretty 2D graphics. Amazing. Maybe someday we'll do it. Anybody have news?
Well, I have two things that stemmed off of what you've said.
Okay, did you play Princess Crown?
No, but I played Unicorn Overlords. Have you played that, either of you?
Just a tiny bit.
It's a pretty fun game. It's very different genre to what I'm used to. Yeah, I got a couple hours into that. And the graphics are amazing. Yeah,
it's the same. Like you would, if you ever see Princess Crown, you'll say you'll be able to see the similarities in the looks. I mean, it probably is prettier on the Switch because several generations of graphics later, but it's pretty good on the Saturn too. So.
And then the second thing was LJN.
Yes.
So I was on YouTube just stumbling across, like, as I normally do, looking for things to listen to while I'm working. And I didn't realize that one of my favorite games was made by LJN.
Oh, yeah? Which one's that?
Jaws for the NES.
I've heard that one's okay. I haven't played it.
Yeah, I used to dive hours into that game, and I never beat it, but I was watching like some content about it was like a retro gaming YouTube channel, but it was more like he was reminiscing with his family, and his dad took a lot of
drugs
videos of like back in the day.
Oh, that's kind of neat.
Yeah. So he has a lot of these things to pull up. And his dad was big into the Jaws movies. And the game came out, and he says he remembers this was like one of the first games that his dad picked up, not for the kids,
Right.
but kind of for himself.
Right.
And he made it like a mission to beat that game. And I remember like I could get like pretty far into the Jaws, but I was also like maybe 6 or 7 at the time when the game came out, or when I played it. But I didn't realize until I watched that, like, and now I want to go back and try to beat it.
Yeah.
But you have to go to like certain ports at certain times that you do stuff. So it kind of sparked.
Yeah.
And it just reminded me when he's LJ.
I mean, and a lot of people give LJN a lot of crap because they did shovel out a lot of junk, but they did occasionally hit on one that's pretty decent. Like, I heard that one's good. I posted recently the WrestleMania Challenge. I played so many hours of that game, and that was an LJN one. The first game.
It looks like they love to just grab IPs.
That's what they did.
Out,
they were, I don't even know. I don't know if they came out with any games that weren't IPs. I'm not sure, but I'm not even sure if they had in-house developers or if they just got it developed by other places and then published. I don't know exactly how they were structured, but I think they were just like money grab, and then occasionally they'd hit on something that actually worked, and that was cool. You know what I mean? But I don't think they were that concerned about it. But yeah, no, I mean, I think that's all. I want to actually try that sometime. So maybe someday I'll come up with something we can pick for the show. I don't know.
News. Go grab Silksong 3 weeks late.
What's that? Who's heard of that? Is that a thing?
Yeah. Apparently it crashed the Steam servers.
Is it because Steam was sad because no one had heard of that game? I'm just kidding.
Yes.
No, I know it is. It's great. I've only played a little bit of Hollow Knight, which is the only reason I'm not jumping on it, is because I'm not far enough into that where I feel like I should get the sequel. But I know it's a big deal. It looks gorgeous.
Apparently it was 6 years in the making.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's wild.
I think the best part about it is all the memes that are coming out.
Yeah, there's a ton of them. I've seen a lot of this. It's only like $20 too, isn't it?
Yeah, it is $19.99.
Yeah, because I think we talked about, we were wondering about what the price would be, but yeah, that's not bad at all.
One of my favorite memes was like, because I've been talked about it quite a few times, been big into Claire Obscure Expedition 33, which, you know, is in the running. I can definitely say in the running now for Game of the Year. And I know that like Nintendo fans are going to push Donkey Kong, but I would be happy, even though I'm not running out to jump on the game, kind of in the similar sense that I haven't beaten Hollow Knight.
Right.
And it's, I don't know, Hollow Knight seems very complicated for me. It's very, you have to like find a way, and then you have to buy a map to just figure out where you've already been and stuff like that. But amazing game, the first one. But yeah, so the memes are like Claire Obscure is like walking down the road, and they see that GTA 6 gets pushed back, and they're like all cocky about it now, and then Silksong comes out. There's a bunch of them. Yeah,
I definitely want to try it sometime, but that'll make me playing Hollow Knight more of a priority, so I can at least get far enough in where I'd be like, okay, now I can spend the $20 or whatever. Yeah. If it happens to get on a deal somewhere, which probably won't happen for a while, jump on that.
Yeah, but the fact that Silksong is an indie published game, I'd be happy to see that become Game of the Year over Nintendo.
Well, I mean, this is the ones you mentioned, and I'm sure there's more out there, but just between Claire Obscure and Silksong both being indie companies, and both of them, I think a lot of people are talking about Game of the Year potential. That's really cool, man. It's not like newest Assassin's Creed or EA, whatever they're doing. You know, it's actually like a couple indie publishers doing amazing stuff, which is awesome to see.
They did an interview with the people who did Final Fantasy Tactics, the remake. And towards the end of that interview, they did hint at a few different things. And I mean, you can take this with a grain of salt. They were asked, would you make a sequel? Would you remake Advanced and Advanced 2 and those type of things? And they kind of gave the roundabout like, oh, we would love to if something, blah, blah happened. But they also mentioned very specifically, because they talked about like how, I think Final Fantasy X was the last turn-based Final Fantasy game.
I think so.
And then the rest of them were more action-based. They had mentioned the popularity, and they said of certain games that start with P and certain games that have 33 in them. So we look at those. 33 is Clair Obscur.
Right.
Obviously, that one's pretty self-explanatory. P, people are hinting at the Persona series because those are turn-based. So there is still hope out there that they make like a maybe the next mainline one be turn-based, now that there's so many mechanics that they can make turn-based more involved. Or who knows, maybe they're gonna look at other spin-offs.
I would love for them to do that because I thought 12 was all right, but it's very different, because it is and I just have not. I've literally not paid attention to almost any. I have no idea what Final Fantasy 16 looks like, what the characters look like. I don't have any clue what's going on in that game. I'm not super excited to search it out. Like, there's so many other options now that'll play probably more like how I'd like it to play. That it's not that I think they're bad. They're probably good games, but I'm just not as excited about them because of the switch to how they've become.
Yeah, and Square Enix has so many like turn-based games now that you can go to, like the Octopath Traveler, things like that.
Yeah, I mean Dragon Quest. Now I can't remember which one's Japan, which one's U.S. Dragon Quest, Dragon Warrior, whatever it is now. I'm blanking. I think it's Quest.
Yeah,
those are great, and those are turn-based. Worth trying out for sure. You got any news?
I was trying to look up right before we started to make sure if it was a fake AI video that I watched or if it's actually a true trailer. From what I saw, it looks like it's actually a trailer, but a trailer for a live-action Pokemon on Netflix just came out.
Oh, really?
With Tom Holland being Red. So it's going based off of the original Red video game. So, like I said, I'm like, this looks like it could very well be fake. So, but when I tried looking at it, it looks like it might be real. I'm not sure.
So hard to tell.
So,
The fact that they picked Tom Holland.
yeah, that's what made me go.
I mean, they picked him for a lot of different.
Yeah, he's like always in there. So, if it is a true trailer, the CGI is okay. Like, I saw a lot of comments comparing it to Detective Pikachu, where like some of the Pokemon kind of look like the way you would think they would, but some of them are a little rough. So kind of have to wait and see. But
Interesting.
Should be interesting. I'm curious to see it.
Well,
I hope it's good.
yeah, so
Neat. All right.
I mean, IMDb is saying Tom Holland reportedly eyed for a role in new Pokemon movie. Yeah, a lot of mixed.
yeah.
A lot of mixed.
Like it's kind of hard. Like right now, it's hard to tell if it's real or not. But like maybe.
I'll give it a look.
So,
I think I watched Detective Pikachu.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Didn't like it. I don't think I saw it.
I watched it. I thought it was okay. Like it's.
I never played the game.
Yeah.
So.
I have no idea. I don't know if the game's even like at all, to be honest with you. But
I did completely turn a circle, and I pre-ordered Final Fantasy.
did you? That's funny.
Yeah.
You'll probably like it. It'll be good, I'm sure.
So here's the thing. I swear they didn't just give you the information when they announced it, right? And maybe this is one of the first few games that I was in on the ground floor. Like, maybe I'm not so quick to find these things, and I only hear about them like a few months before they come out. But I swear, they're like, this is the game, voice acting, cool. Okay. And then everyone's like translating things that the producers are saying. Right. And when they translate it to English, it kind of means something else, and they're speculating and all this stuff. So it went down this wild rabbit hole of like, oh, maybe it's going to be like actual new things.
Right.
And I was like, oh, cool, bye. And then they're like, no, it just means that they like translated it better. And I'm like, And so I was like, whatever. But as they've been coming out with the stuff, like, I was always like in the back of my mind, like, voice recording's cool. I'm sad they didn't do Borderline content. So like Onion Knight, Dark Knight, some of the special characters not going to be there. Sad. But I didn't really beat either of the games. I got quite far in both of them. Mm-hmm. But the things that are cool are they have level difficulties that you can change whenever, because some levels are harder than others. When you're doing, I don't know how much you remember.
It's been a bit for sure, so
I'll try to be vague.
It's only been like a couple decades, or maybe 2 or 3.
I'll try to be somewhat vague too, because like with our new picks coming up. But when you get like things where you send a character out and then you have to run around for however many days, if you land on a space that has like random encounters, they're not random anymore. They give you a pop-up to choose if you want to do them or not.
Okay.
Apparently, like a lot of the menu management's a lot easier. It tells you the turn order on the side. And then the biggest one, and this is probably a skill issue. Tactics fans can come at me. I'm not great. I love tactics games, but so a lot of modern tactics games, you can move, pull up your action, see what you can target,
right?
Be like, oh man, I can't because I miscalculated the height or whatever. Back out, move somewhere else.
Right.
That was never a thing in the original tactics. You moved,
you're stuck.
You pull it out, and you're like, cool. I messed that one up. But they have take backsies now.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. For that kind of game, that's I need it. I don't know about other people. I will probably need to do that like 5 times for every move I do it. I'm bad at it.
But yeah, I pre-ordered it again.
Nice.
Comes out probably around the same time this video is coming out.
Nice. Well, I'll be curious to hear your thoughts on it, because I'm sure you'll jump into that right away. So if you decide it was a worthwhile upgrade.
Yeah, I really want to play that game again. Probably the reason why I was touched on Advanced.
Yeah. As far as me, there's a couple news things. There is a Lego Sega Genesis controller that I heard about like 2 days ago, and on sale for just $20, which seems impossible for Lego. But good luck finding it at $20. It's out of stock at the Lego store, and you can find it on eBay for like $50 to $55. So if you happen to, it's not horrible, especially for Lego. I thought it was going to be that price just because it's Lego. I don't understand how it's less. But if you find it for $20 or so, grab it. It looks cool, and you can pull off the faceplate, and then there's like a Sonic the Hedgehog like diorama inside, which is kind of neat. That being said, not actually functional. You can't plug it into a Genesis. You can get a wireless Genesis controller for $35. It doesn't have a diorama, but you could put a Sonic the Hedgehog game on your screen and play it. And you don't have to assemble it. I don't know. Yeah. It's kind of a...
How many pieces is it if it's only $20?
It's like 206 or something like that.
That does seem cheap.
Yeah.
Maybe that was some kind of promotion. I have no idea. Either way, eBay, $50. So go for it if you want.
More.
If I had anywhere to just like display something like that, I'd be tempted because I think it's cool, but...
I think I'd rather display the
actual controller?
The Switch controller that we have for Fiona.
Yeah, we've got a cool like Switch controller that's practically like a Sonic diorama in its own. And it's pretty neat, but then she would want it back. And how dare she want her thing that we gave her as a gift? What the hell's wrong with her? No, that's cool. Other news. This isn't video game news yet, but it will be. Trust me. AJ Lee is back in WWE. I'm so effing happy. I don't remember the last time I heard a crowd reaction that big. They should put her on the cover of WWE 2K26, which is how it comes around to video games. That means she'll probably be in it. In 25, I have a fan-made version of her, and she has a gigantic head. It's disproportionate to her body. She's a very slender, like petite, muscular, but petite gal, and she has probably a normal human-sized head. Her head is not like a pumpkin on top of a broomstick. It's like, ugh. So, and I could change it, but I haven't. I'm too lazy. So it'll be nice to have an actually modeled AJ Lee in 2K26. She's fantastic after 10 years. But this is important to me. Okay, listen, just accept that it's good. Go look up AJ Lee. Watch a match. She's fantastic.
She's very awesome.
She's great. So, happy day. It's related to video games. I can now use wrestling news for everything. But I won't. But this one made me so happy, and I'm still like kind of like on a high from it because she's one of the best. So great. She'll be in 2K26, I bet. I can't promise because nothing's been announced, but come on now. She's got to be. So that's my news. You guys have anything else?
Personal note, I I badly sprained my finger, so it's been actually hard for me to do stuff this week.
Yeah,
Mashing.
yeah, it's a problem.
Yeah.
So next we're going to be doing Typing of the Dead. And no, I was kidding. Not really. Yeah, that sucks. It sucks. Yeah. You can still play games though, right? Because you can like rest the.
Yeah, kind of. Except for like like if I'm doing too much and it's causing pressure on my finger, because like I can do that, but then my hand starts to.
Just play everything like before Game Boy Advance. That don't have the L buttons. You'll be fine.
That's a good point. L buttons. Well, hopefully we don't pull something like D-Force again with our next pick, because that'll ruin you. But you have to do it. I'm sorry. You got sacrifice that to be made. You know, they have to amputate. Well, that's what happens.
I was gonna say it is military.
Yeah. That was our military pick lesson. Anyway, all right. So are we done with all the plays and news?
Yeah.
Yeah, I
love that it's news and it's 3 weeks old. So sorry guys, but that's how it is. If I get everyone to tell us, like the companies tell us things 3 weeks in advance of everybody else.
Well, I mean, honestly, the Final Fantasy Tactics news will come out right around that time. September 30th
that would be
is when it
incredibly
comes out.
relevant. Yeah, exactly. They're still coming up with Silent Hill F. That's still coming. Yay! I don't know when it comes out, but that could be out, or it could be still in the way. What did I do to my phone? Why is it glowing at me? What? I don't even know.
We'll just say GTA 6 coming soon. Every episode.
Yeah.
It'll hit someday.
Yeah, and then even when it does come out, we get that say GTA 7. That's good for like 9 years at least. So we're way ahead of the game on that one. I guarantee it'll come out. Great. Okay.
Don't guarantee that. People
not in our lifetime. I just mean like sometime in the great span of the future of humanity, assuming it goes very long, it'll come out. We'll see. Who knows? Anything could happen. All right. As I think I said at the top, the game we were covering this week is Broken Sword: The Shadow of the Templars on the Game Boy Advance. In some territories, it's called Broken Sword: Circle of Blood. That sounds a lot more like vicious and wow. It sounds like some like cult, like we're gonna summon a demon, but anyway, none of that's true. So this was released for the Game Boy Advance in 2002 by BAM Entertainment. Sorry about the volume, I'll fix that. But that's what it was. It originally came out on PC CD-ROM in 1996 from Revolution Software. Now, when this game came out on the Game Boy Advance, this was considered kind of a technological marvel. And the reason why is they took a game that was on CD-ROM, that's like 600 to 700 megabytes of storage, and put it on a Game Boy Advance cartridge, which was at most 32 megabytes of storage. That's a massive shrink down. But they did it, and everyone was shocked that they could. The art in the game stayed as faithful as it could to the CD-ROM version. Of course, it's quite a bit lower resolution, but the art was all like hand-painted and then, then animated that way. So it has a unique look. If you put your device that you're playing on across the room and you back up far and you look at it, you're like, wow, that looks incredible. When you get it close, it's a little more abstract, I'm gonna say, but we'll get to graphics later. But anyway, nonetheless, they did their best to capture the same look of the PC game, which is great. They also, in the PC one, had voice acting for all the parts. They could not do that on the Game Boy Advance, and I'm so glad they didn't try, because the sound quality would have been garbage and probably really grating. So it's all just text in this game.
No, I would have taken any voice acting.
Would you have?
We'll talk about that. I would have taken any voice acting.
Anyway, all right. So we'll get to that, I guess. So the controls had to be completely overhauled. So this was a point-and-click adventure game on the PC. So, you had your mouse and you go and you click on what you wanted them to go to. And I didn't look at the screens for that, but usually in those games there could be like a list of commands. So it might be look or eat or touch or whatever. And then you'd have to like click that combined with whatever you touched on the screen or in your inventory, and then you do an action. That doesn't work very well on a console or handheld, but a lot of companies tried that in their translations of point and clicks to consoles. And it's why I was actually worried about this game, because I'm like, we're going to like slowly move a cursor across the screen with a D-pad, and that's going to kind of suck. But they instead made everything very contextual. I'm sure we'll go into that a little bit more later as well. So this series in general has been very popular, has 5 entries. I think the first 2 have had remakes. It's this particular one is considered one of the greatest adventure games ever made by a lot of people. In the game, Steve is so mad. I love this. This is great. So the main characters are George Stoddard, I think that's how you say it. And Nico, you can name your character something else, but I think his last name is still going to be Stoddard, so whatever. But I just kept it George because...
No. You can't name your person anybody.
It's like when you play Final Fantasy VII, yeah, you can name Cloud Fartface if you want, but
no,
don't.
I named the person.
Yeah?
And it was still George Stoddard.
Oh, see, I didn't know because I just named him George. That's funny.
Did you change the name?
I did.
What is the naming for? Is it for a save file?
Save file.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's
Why the
cool.
fuck did I even name this?
Oh yeah, because I put a name in. Yeah, like it's
Okay,
the
I
same file.
didn't realize it because I named him George. I was like, oh, I guess if I named him Poopy Head, it'd be Poopy Head Stoddard. But nope, I guess not. Okay, never mind. You can't rename him. He's George. Deal with it. God. Okay. So the very, very, very basic plot is, as George, you witness a murder, and then you're trying to figure out who did that. You end up teaming up with a freelance photographer named Nico, and this spirals out into become this big international conspiracy and mystery that somehow involves the Knights Templar. I just barely started touching on that. I'm about halfway in. I still haven't come across any swords, so I don't know. And when we talk about puzzle confusing stuff, there's one I'll tell you about later. But that's the basic overview, unless one of you want to add something to the overview. Okay, so we all agree 5 stars, right? Out of 5? Good.
Just because you can.
I want to do.
PC game.
I want to do an activity with our audience before we get into this game
so
too
excited.
much.
Yeah, let's do this.
All right. I want everyone to close their eyes, except for David. David, can you read the title?
Yes. Okay. Broken Sword, the Shadow of the Templars.
Now, read the alternate title.
Broken Sword, Circle of Blood.
Okay. So you think Broken Sword, Templars, adventure game. You're probably in some medieval setting. You're probably some macho warrior, last crusade. Just throw all that out. You're some American guy sticking your nose in business that doesn't even matter. And you're reading a book while trying to play a game.
Yes. Yeah.
You can turn it off now.
That's actually great. I meant to say this in the intro, so I'm glad you said that. This game has a 400-page script. That's bigger than like movie screenplays. That's a big script. It's a lot of text. Anyway, anything else to add on that one, Hilary? Would you want to play a game with the people? You got something?
So, I do have the How Long to Beat.
Great.
It was 10 hours.
10 hours, yeah. That's pretty much across the board, isn't it?
Yeah.
No matter, because you can't. I don't know if you can avoid things, really.
Yeah.
Avoid doing everything.
I looked up it, and now I lost it. But yeah, it was 10 hours. I think completionist may have been slightly more.
I think it was like 11 hours or
not much. We'll go with that.
Yeah. So I got to the middle of the middle third of it. So I'm like halfway through it. I did get to a castle. There's a castle, Steve. Next side. It's practically like it's medieval. Yep, there's a castle, and it's in Ireland. I haven't gotten in there yet, but that's how I got. How'd you guys do?
That's pretty far considering you start in Paris.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it only takes minutes to get there. Actually, it's faster for him to walk from Paris to Ireland than it is for Waldo to walk around.
I knew you were going to go.
It's amazing. It's like, he's quick, man. I'm telling you. George got some good shoes on.
They did take that overworld map from Waldo, I swear.
Maybe. Because it's like a, well, not a world map, it's a Europe map, and it just has dots on it. Yeah. And then you can walk your dude over to wherever. They're unlabeled, by the way, so you better remember.
Yeah, I had such an issue with that.
Yeah.
They at least gray out when you're done with them?
Yeah, I think that's what that is.
Yeah, so I think to understand the game, we should probably first talk about the controls.
Sure.
Maybe there was a D-pad that you could walk around, which was probably nicer than, you know, trying to scan over to like move and stuff like you were thinking that it might have been.
Yeah.
So you could move. And then when you got close to something that was interactable, it would tell you if it was a place where you would go to. There were arrows. If there was something that you could interact with, I think it was like an open hand, right?
Yeah. And they'd be like, and they'd be like gear symbol when you interact, which is, I don't know how this game was on the PC. A lot of those kind of adventure games, like, you better hope you can figure out what you're supposed to interact with, because you have to just click on the right thing, and it may not be obviously highlighted or anything in any way. So I don't know about this one, but a lot of those games are like that. So it was kind of nice just to be like, okay, there is something here for sure. I can do something in this area instead of just being like, I don't know, I hope I'm just going to click the button every time I take a step. It could have been worse.
Well, and then on top of that, different buttons did different things. So one button you like interacted with it. I don't remember which one it was. And then the other button you just looked at it, so it would like describe it.
Yeah.
And then one of the trigger buttons would, I don't even know the Game Boy controller if they had two triggers or not.
Did, yeah.
Okay, so I think the trigger would like, it was nice because you could like scroll through and see everything that was interactive, which is great for how tedious this game was. And then I think the left bumper would like cycle through the items that you had, which took me a long time to figure out.
Yeah, me too. I was like, how do I do a thing?
Because I remember you got stuck at a certain point, and
yeah,
I also got stuck at
because it's like there's a alleyway where there's like a manhole cover that you have to
in the very beginning.
Yeah. And that you have to remove. And so like you talk to a construction worker, you managed to get him to leave, and so you steal his tool. You also impersonate a cop. How is this guy not arrested?
Yeah, he's
like.
Well, in fairness, I think the construction guy said, "Oh, you go for it. Have my tools." Which, who would do that, by the way? That's strange.
Yeah, but also like, how dumb are the people in this town? He gets a business card from the detective. He shows people the business card, and they're like, "Oh, you're a detective? Like what?"
Yeah, where's your badge, buddy? Is that how they do it in England? God, I can just put up some business cards. It's gonna be great. Paris, excuse me.
But, so you get this tool. Up until that point in that game, every time you have to interact with something, you just interact with it or talk. You basically are just hitting the same button. So you go to the manhole cover. When you have the tool, it still says the same thing. Like, you can't do this. And there was no confirmation that you picked up the tools. So it was just like...
Kind of. They would kind of, but at the same point, no.
Yeah.
I think it says you picked up... yeah, I have no clue. I don't remember, but...
It was basically like, oh, you looked at the toolbox. Okay, cool. Do it up. I get the toolbox? I don't know.
I mean, I ran back and forth trying to interact with the toolbox.
Me too. Yeah, I did too. And Grant, okay, we gotta be a little fair here, because this is still in the era of they expect you to read the instruction manual. Like, they expect you to do that. They don't do in-game tutorials very often the further back you go. So I get that. But, like, and maybe this is still being unfair in the same way, but, like, I feel like, couldn't it just pull up the inventory screen? Like, if he knows I have to do something with the inventory there, and then I could try to use the crowbar or the piece of cloth or whatever else I have on me.
Well, that's what I was expecting it to do. Because, like, everything else, like if you're talking to someone, it would pop up, like, what do you want to ask them about? Oh. And so when I got to the manhole cover, I figured it would be like, okay, what do you want to do? Like, do you want to try this thing? Like, do you want to use the item? And it didn't do that. And so I had no idea what I was supposed to do. I'm like, okay, I'm just stuck. Like, obviously I thought I had the tool, but maybe I didn't. So, and then I go back and I couldn't interact with the toolbox anymore. So I'm like, I have no idea what I'm supposed to do.
Yeah, I randomly pushed that button. I pushed the button. And then I went over to the tool. I was like, oh, what are all these things? I have a... nope, I didn't have that at the time. Yeah, I don't remember exactly all the things that I had. A business card and the tool. And so I clicked on the tool. But you're not interacted with the thing. You're just standing next to it when you push it. And then, of course, he opens it up. But the opening area, you're next to this cafe, which is the scene of the crime. And then you can go to the alleyway with the where you can
Manhole cover.
cover and trash cans that do nothing except smell like fish or something.
Yeah, they stink or something.
Yeah, they stink. And then you can go down the way that the construction worker was. And it forces you to do everything until you do the right thing before you can move on with the story. And what makes it even more tedious is when you're talking to somebody, as Hilary had mentioned, it pops up the things. It's not giving you dialogue text of what you're asking. It shows a picture. And you better remember who's who.
Yeah.
Because they'll show like a picture of a clown because that's who you initially saw. And then, so you ask about the clown and they'll give you an answer. And then the picture of the clown doesn't go away. And you're like, okay, that's weird. But I scrolled to the next thing and asked about the next thing. And they give you an answer. And sometimes that goes away. I was like, what? And so I go back to the clown. And if you have to ask multiple times about the same thing to get additional answers.
Yeah, if it's still in your dialogue options, then there's still something to do there. Like until it gives you the little symbol of like, yeah, get out of the conversation, you still have things to talk about.
Which is, so that was interesting because you go down the manhole, you find a few things, and then you pop up into someone's yard, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something like that. Yeah, it's really
I think it was like a hotel, like courtyard or something.
I
Yeah,
wasn't
that's
totally
what it was.
clear, but I think you're
And
right.
the guy's like, who are you? And you interact with them, and I got to a point where I got kicked out. And so I was like, weird. And so I was like talking to everybody. I'd call my girlfriend every time girlfriend. You call it.
He wants her to be.
Yeah. Which is probably a whole side plot.
I'm sure it is. They have 5 games of this, man.
She seems to be on most of the covers.
Yeah,
too.
I think she's a recurring character.
Right.
She stays in there.
So I interact with a bunch of stuff, and every time I got like a new clue, I thought I would try to call her, and I thought maybe that was to progress the storyline, and it is, but you gotta find the right thing.
Yeah.
But I had to like go back through the sewers and then find him again, and that's when you impersonate, right?
I think so. I don't know
Eventually you
exactly
tell
where it
him,
goes, but
which is dumb because you told him before you're some tourist,
Yeah.
and you're like, wait, no, I'm a cop.
it's just that easy to do things like that in real life. Like, hold on, wait, let me change my whole story. You'll believe it.
Yeah.
God damn.
Yeah, I got a few hours in. I found one of the endings.
You found an ending? Oh, the turn off the game ending? Did you?
No, a real ending.
Oh, yeah, that's
Yeah.
right. Oh, yeah, that's right. Sorry, yeah. Okay, because is that when you stop? Is that when you stop?
No.
Okay, because
Yeah, that's when I stopped.
you die.
Yeah.
You get killed by little mobsters or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And why don't you tell us what happened there? Because like it's this game isn't as like puzzle heavy as some other adventure type games I've played, but this is one of the puzzles, right? In a sense. So like,
Yeah, so
what
basically
happened?
you're at a hotel and there's a woman at a piano that you interact with. There's some kind of diplomat that you can talk to, and then there's the housekeeper, like not
The front
housekeeper,
desk
the front desk
guy.
person.
Concierge,
Yeah.
there you go, French.
And so you're you kind of figured out who one of the bad guys is, and they have a room at the hotel. So you're trying to get into their room to find some evidence. There's a lot of back and forth conversations and a lot of useless information. And
It's world building.
eventually you get a key to the room next to the guy's room, and you have to get out on a ledge and break into his room. You do a few other things. You eventually get the evidence you're looking for. You're supposed to be able to throw it into an alleyway. Like most of the stuff in this game, like as you're walking around, if you get to something that you can interact with or do something, it'll pop up a little icon so you know you're supposed to interact. I never got an icon. I kind of thought I knew what I was supposed to do. Never got the icon, so I'm like, okay, I guess I'm gonna leave. You leave, and if you leave with the item, then these 2 mob people out front kill you.
Yeah, that's one of the ones I think you just have to like choose to pull up the. If I remember, I don't remember exactly. I think you have to choose to pull up the item menu and then pick it. And what's funny, I wish I could remember exactly what it said when I did pick it. I feel like what it said was implying that it wasn't gonna let go of it. I think it was like, oh, I shouldn't drop an item like this in such a dirty alley. Whoop, there it goes. I'm like, okay.
It did.
Cool.
It said something along that lines, but it also mentioned like this is obviously what those people are looking for.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Which it wasn't obvious.
Yeah.
To be fair.
Yeah.
They never hinted at what they were looking for.
Yeah.
Like I assumed once I got that item that that's what they were looking for, so I saved and then went out and died. And then I was like, okay, I don't know what I'm supposed to do. And I looked around and I kind of correlated that the alleyway was the same alleyway as the ledge, but I literally went up to the window and tried to throw it out.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, that's weird. But yeah, one of the first items that you have to use to interact with something is the tire iron. So the second item that you have to use to interact with something like is that parchment. But with the first thing, like you had mentioned, the manhole was something that you could interact with regardless.
Mm-hmm.
It would have been nice if there was like a little interact thing while you're going over the ledge that at least said like, oh, there's that alleyway that has nothing in it.
Yeah.
Or I don't know.
Yeah.
Like you could at least observe the alleyway, and then maybe that would be a hint that like, oh, maybe I should throw something here.
Yeah. I knew you were supposed to throw it in the alleyway, or I kind of assumed that was it, but I had no idea how to do it.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, okay, I guess that's not what you're supposed to do.
Right.
And when I left, I hadn't saved, and so like it pushed me back so far that I'm like, okay, I'm done. Like
Yeah.
I don't want to redo all that.
Yeah, because you only like it's not like so it isn't like an RPG, right? Like if you have to go through like a whole conversation train, like you can just keep hitting the button and I'll zip through it pretty fast. Yeah. And you can speed it up a little bit here, but not that much. So if you have to retrace your steps, that's going to take you some time, depending on how far you go.
Or you can even remember like what order you're supposed to do things in. And
see, when you stopped, did you get stuck on a puzzle, or were you just like, I'm done? Like what happened?
I was just done, and I didn't want to pick it back up. I was actually fairly interested in the story once I determined I was no crusader. There was a lot of like humor in it. A lot of nonsense. Like this would never happen in real life. So that was kind of interesting, and I was like kind of into the story. But once I turned it off, I think I played like 2.5 hours, which might not be saying much because if you don't know what you're doing, there could be a lot of backtracking and stuff like that.
True.
And I was just like, I can't play this game. If I wanted to read a book, I would read a book. If I wanted to do a choose your own adventure, I would do that. Not my genre.
This game reminded me a lot, like, I got mad and frustrated with this game because it reminded me a lot of the Professor Layton series, which I really enjoy that game. And so it just made me want to play that game. Which I actually tried to play, but then our emulator doesn't really... It can play the games, but because it has the dual screen on those games, the screen is so small that I couldn't really actually interact with things like you're supposed to in those games.
Yeah, I think I would have preferred this game as a computer game. Like I played what's it called? King's Quest. I think King's Quest 5 was one of the big ones of that series. And that was like a go around solving puzzles and stuff like that.
Yeah, I agree. I think I would have enjoyed it more as an actual point and click computer game.
With hotkeys and stuff.
So the place I got, I didn't get stuck. I had to edit, and I just ran out of time to really get much further. But I was just shy of apparently what is a notorious puzzle in the genre. And I'm going to kind of spoil it here. I looked it up ahead of time because I was like, okay, I know I'm coming across this, and I just don't have time to like screw around and figure it out. This is a goat puzzle. And if you look up things about this game online, you're going to hear people talking about, oh, did you manage to defeat the goat? And all this other stuff. Like, it's a big thing. And it's funny when you hear how it's beaten because it doesn't seem like it should be. But you go in and there's like a goat tied to a barn. And if you try to walk past it, he's just going to ram you. And so you have to figure out how to get past it. And people spend a whole bunch of time, I guess, going to other places saying, like, do I need to get a treat for him or like some kind of object? And people have a lot of trouble getting past the goat. And the weird thing about that is it's shockingly easy. You go up to it, he knocks you down. When you get knocked down that first time, you hit some kind of piece of equipment. So you don't have to touch your controller. Don't even touch it. Let your dude get up, and the goat will ram you again, or try to, but then he'll get tangled up in the equipment, and then you can walk right past him. And because it's an adventure game, people are overthinking it is what happened. It's very simple when you hear it, but a ton of people get stuck on it. And this is kind of one of the weird things where I get kind of in trouble or confused with this game, I guess. So the problem I have with games like King's Quest or Space Quest, Leisure Suit Larry, Secret of Monkey Island, etc., all those big name adventure games, is a lot of times the puzzles are absolute bonkers nonsense. Like, it's like, oh, I need to get the monkey and a piece of bubble gum so I can get the monkey wrench so I can... It's ridiculous. Like, you would never think to do the things that lead to the answer in a lot of the puzzles in those games because they're just bonkers. Like, they're nonsense cartoon logic. And I didn't find that to be the case here. It could be a matter of like what do I have to press to make this happen? But I didn't think the things that he did were illogical. The problem there is that I found, like, much like you guys, or you at least mentioned, Steve, is because of that, because the puzzles by and large made fairly clear sense to me, even if I wasn't sure always how to execute them. Like, I knew kind of what I had to do. It really did feel like more like a story I'm going along with and controlling, instead of a game where I have to figure out a puzzle to progress. And I don't know what the happy medium there is, but I don't want the ridiculous, silly puzzles that you get in King's Quest, because those games I just played with a strategy guide. And every time I got stuck, I'd have to look it up because it was just bonkers. This one, I felt like I needed a strategy guide, but then because of that, and because there weren't that many puzzles, it wasn't like puzzle after puzzle, it's like, well, my interaction is just really like, I'll read what this person says and read it again and read some more of what they say. And then and then I'm gonna walk here and then I'm going to do the only thing I can do. And then you move on.
I mean, you could argue that every stage was a puzzle because you have to do and talk and do certain things. But I think what would have made the game better is multiple ways to complete the puzzle. Like, why couldn't I throw the thing out the window? Why did I have to be on that ledge?
Yeah, I've thrown things out windows or doors before, and I didn't feel like I had to step out of them to make it happen. You could just just your item.
Or like you said, make it so like why would you think that you need to get hit twice by a goat?
Yeah,
to get tangled. Yeah, why not make it so like even if like, okay, you had to get hit twice, right? But who knows? Maybe something super early in the game that you could interact with, but maybe wasn't that important. Like, you found a piece of something near the cafe when it exploded.
Yeah.
Okay. And if you happened to have grabbed it, it helped you with the goat.
Right.
But if you missed it, then yeah, you had to get hit twice, or you had to figure out a different way, or you had to, like, having multiple ways. But it felt like you were very railroaded in this game to do a certain thing. So it hardly had to do with you. You either figured out the puzzle or you didn't. And then you proceeded. I did find, like, some of the hotel, like, hilarious. Like, the lady that you interacted with at the piano.
Yeah.
Every time you talked to her, the music just stopped.
Yeah.
Like,
it makes sense.
It makes sense. But at the same time, like, music was somewhat catchy, considering there was not really much music anywhere else.
Did you catch her little dirty joke?
Oh, yeah. Those were the best parts. And, like, the fact that, like, I guess she was dating, or the bad guy was trying to woo her at some point. So then she gets all pissed about it, that he might be involved in something, and then she helps you. And, like, why would she? Like, why would any of this happen?
Yeah. Like, if I'm sitting at a cafe, right? And somebody goes in, and then a clown goes in, and then there's an explosion, and the clown runs away, and the cops show up. I'm going to tell the cops what I said, and then I'm going to leave. I'm going to go on my vacation. I'm not going to start.
And they even tell you, like, oh. So, yes, there was a lot of the point where I'm like, why am I doing this? And like maybe like 30, 40 minutes in, you get to a point where the cops are like, don't look into this anymore. Higher ups told us that not to do. At that point, you're like, oh, okay, well, now this makes sense why I'm interested in this. But like up till then, I'm already impersonating cops. I'm talking to news reporters about how I don't know anything, but she's cute. So maybe I'll try to find something.
Yeah.
Like none of this would not make sense.
The thing is,
I have opinions about George that I will not share on YouTube.
There is no amount of cute that anyone could have that's going to make me be like, you know what, I'm going to climb into the sewer. Nope. Like, sorry. No, lady. I'll do it for you, honey, because we're married. That's different. But if I was trying to win some gal over, like, no. Sorry. This is not worth it. I'm not climbing into the sewer to impress you. Mm-mm.
I could even see, like, climbing into the sewer. Once you get to the hotel, there's, like, obviously mob people out front that are patting you down, and you're still like, okay, break into this person's room.
Yeah, it starts to be kind of a bit more, like, it's above my pay scale, you know what I mean?
Maybe they should have given more of a background on George.
Yeah. There's got to be something that I'm not seeing.
But it's like, there's no reason he should be a hero. Like, 99.9% of people in his situation would have done exactly what you said. Told the cops what they saw, what they know, and then like be shell-shocked and never visit Paris again.
Right?
But they would like be like, oh, well, I've already paid to go to the Eiffel Tower or whatnot. I better go. My time's ticking.
Yeah.
You know, like, and then go home and relax.
I can't remember where it is in the story. Did you guys make it to the weird museum?
Yes.
That
was about
the costume shop?
No. There's an actual museum, and there's like, dude. Okay, it's a museum, and there's a sarcophagus. You can just like open and close it, and the guy who's running it keeps yelling at you. There's a big totem pole that goes to the ceiling, and if you interact with it, he just starts shaking it back and forth. I'm like, what is wrong with you?
You go into the sarcophagus.
Again, why is this guy not arrested?
Yeah, that's about I made it to the museum. That's where I stopped, and it wasn't because of the puzzle. It was just because it was time to turn the game off, and I didn't want to turn it back on. But you're like, oh, what's this? And you're talking to this guy, and you're like belittling him. Yeah. Like, oh, you're not this guy who knows everything. Yeah. He's like, no, I know about this thing. I'm like, yeah, I don't need to know about that or whatever. Like, whatever. But yeah, you go over to the sarcophagus. It's one of the interactable things, and you go in it, and you're like, I could be here forever.
Yeah,
and that's probably something you have to do.
I'm sure it comes up later, but yeah, I'm just like, why? You're a tourist, and you're just coming. You're like, museum. I'm gonna start wrecking everything. Like, why? Why are you doing this? And like, he specifically doesn't want you to open the window because of whatever the fumes from the burger place. And so like, eventually you're like, I'm gonna open it and then I'm gonna leave. Like, what am I doing to this poor museum? God, I don't understand. I don't know what his deal is. He's got problems. He's like antisocial personality disorder or something. There's something wrong. I'm sure of it.
Yeah, I wish they would have given a little more background on George, and maybe they do over the course of this series of games.
I'm sure. No, I'm not sure, but I mean, there's probably something. You probably get some kind of an idea. I don't know. I don't know why. I mean, granted, I guess she doesn't see a lot of it to the point where I was. But I don't know why Nico's even entertaining this dude at all. I'd be like, she
wants the story.
Yeah, she does, but I mean, I feel like she implies that she's seen like a couple other similar murders, and she's gotten this far without him. I mean, what does she need this doofus for?
She doesn't give you any information, by the way. Like, she doesn't do her own research. There's something about, like, a psychic detective.
Yeah, one of, like, the main detective is, like, he thinks he's psychic or something. It's very odd. I don't know.
And then there's an actual, like...
Psychic
in front of Nika's apartment.
Yeah.
And...
It's very strange. I don't know if there's, like... I don't know if there's anything... Like, I never got confirmation that all that stuff is, like, real in this world or not. Maybe it comes later. I don't know, but... There's a lot of weird, like, psychic power stuff going on that I'm not sure about, but...
When you're...
the Templar part of the game.
I guess so.
When you're on the phone, those graphics are cool.
Yeah.
And that...
He reminded me of, like, all the 90 cartoon, like, the guy from Anastasia, Catalina, like
he does look. Yeah, he does are that guy. That
Ferngully.
But why didn't they do that for every conversation? Why couldn't they?
Yeah.
Like zoom in and have like close-up pictures.
Yeah.
It would look nicer.
It would look nicer.
For sure. I mean, maybe they ran out of space. I don't know. I don't know if they did that on the computer or not, but they probably didn't have to on the computer because it probably just looked nicer already.
So
I'm guessing.
Speaking of graphics, you had mentioned, you take your handheld, you put it far away, and it looks beautiful.
Yeah.
Now imagine me. I played it on a 30-something inch TV.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You had
like
different
TV
colored. You could see the different square pixels of this guy's face,
Yeah.
and there were like 4 of them.
Yeah.
4 squares.
Yeah.
And for all that, because of the graphics, their shapes and body parts are sort of more a suggestion. But the way those suggestions animated, I thought was pretty good. Like when they did gesture or something, like, oh, that looks good, except for that it's still moving like a vaguely humanish looking blob, kind of a little bit, right? Like it's not, I don't know, it moves nicely, but it doesn't look great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
These kind of games, you don't see very often anymore. I'm sure there's like indie people making them. And I think, I'm just guessing, I think the reason why this was such a big genre for a while is because at the time, the limitations of our technology like kept from telling like this in-depth a story. Like you weren't going to get that in a lot of the games that existed, and they couldn't have like a bunch of people moving around very easily. So they had, these areas in the game that are mostly static. Maybe 1 or 2 things would be animated. You go and you talk, and it didn't take up as much space, but you could still make it look good and still have, this crazy in-depth story. And that's why those were cool. That's why I would play King's Quest or whatever, because I'm like, oh, this is much more interesting a story than if I play Pac-Man. That was a bad example. But most games can get that deep or have that much interesting dialogue. But, as technology got better, the need for that was less. Like now you can go to almost any kind of genre and get a pretty complicated, in-depth story with voice acting and all sorts of stuff. And so these kind of games matter less now. And as a result, while I was totally okay putting up with that back in the day, like I would play even these ridiculous ones that had stupid puzzles that don't make sense to humans. I think it's just hard to do now because I don't need to put up with the weird quirks of this kind of genre to get a good story like this anymore. I don't know if you guys agree, but like I just feel like this isn't necessary to get that experience any longer. Yeah. So it's hard to go back and do this.
Doesn't really age well.
Yeah.
There's so many games now that you can get an amazing plot, an amazing storyline, but you're also doing platform puzzles, you're doing other things as well as combat, as well as like a whole bunch of different games all rolled up into one. Yeah, like almost any modern game can have an amazing story.
Like, cause even if you take like a scene out of this one, right, where you're trying to get out of the hotel, like you could, if you imagine that in current times, you have a cool 3D world. You can have like a stealth scene where you're trying to move between things to avoid these guys seeing you. They could have made a much more interesting gameplay, or they could today than they could have back then. It's like it's just
like that could have been like a whole thing. Like it goes back to like multiple ways to solve the thing. I swear behind that, what was he, a diplomat? There was like a phone booth. I swear that was a phone booth. Yeah. But you can't interact with it.
Which
like
is weird.
I was like trying to call my girlfriend, and to tell her about what I found, but nah. Like why couldn't you be like, call the cops? Like there's mobsters out here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why couldn't that be something and they get scared away and then you could walk out the door? Or you have a phone in one of the rooms, I think.
Right.
Yeah.
Why aren't there multiple ways to do this?
Yeah, and I'm sure part of it was limitation of space back then. But it is one of those things where it's like I think that's where it makes a really rough game to revisit.
Yeah.
Because it's like we're so used to
brains now.
Being able to interact with more things on the screen than you can in this game.
Yeah, and it's odd. Like I think if I had to play this when it came out, I mean, we're already getting to a point where I think this type of game starts to become a little less, or quite a bit less necessary. But I might have enjoyed that, and I didn't hate it this time. It's just that, yeah, I just don't feel like I need that kind of game. And I see the brilliance of it. I see what they did. It is a cool story. It's much more in depth than probably a lot of this other stuff you get at that time. It's got some neat things about it, but yeah, I will just read a book and then I'll play, name your game almost like just about everything else.
So yeah, it's interesting because I was motivated by the storyline. Mm-hmm. I will, and like some of the comedy about it, mm-hmm. and how this would never happen. I would watch this movie.
Yeah.
I would watch this movie, with Brad Pitt, as a tourist, and or Jason Statham, he always puts his nose into stuff that he shouldn't. Yeah. I would watch that movie. I would not play that game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is how I guess I would leave this.
Yeah. I mean, I think if you miss the days of adventure games a lot, of this kind of the point-and-click adventure games, like, yeah, this is cool. I would recommend it if you somehow have avoided this. I mean, it's a big series, so probably if you like adventure games, you probably played this. But if you haven't, yeah, it's a pretty good one. I just think I've moved past it. I just don't think it's my type anymore.
Now, would you give it a chance if they remastered it?
I want to say yes, because much like you, I like the story. I'm curious to see where it goes, because I think I'm just getting to stuff where it starts to really explode out into this weird international craziness. The tough thing is that my time is limited, and I could use that time to play something with a little more gameplay to it. So, I don't know.
What if I told you they did remaster it in 2024?
Is that possible?
It is. It is on Steam.
Is it cheap?
It is. So September 19th, so almost exactly a year ago, mm-hmm. Broken Sword, Shadow of the Templars, reforged.
Ooh. So the sword's not broken anymore.
No.
That's exciting.
And the graphics look graphics. And but yeah, it is 17, they have animated stuff. It's currently on Steam, and this will end before this comes out.
It'll go on sale again. So just
it's currently 40% off, $17.99 till September 21st. If this comes out before then, $29.99 normally.
I wouldn't say no, I would never, but I have to be in such the mood for. And the other thing too is if I get that, I have to go through everything I've already done again.
Right.
And I don't know if I want to do that. I'm probably more likely to just continue it on the Game Boy Advance and just finish the story and see where it goes. And then maybe when they redo the second one, maybe if I'm really feeling it and I have to know what goes on with Nico and George for the rest of their lives, maybe. This is so unlikely. But it's not impossible. It isn't impossible, but it's very unlikely that I'm going to do all that. That's just, I will have to be in such an adventure game mood, which I don't think I've been in since the mid 90s. So
I think if this one, and like I said, I haven't looked too much into the Reforged, but if it has voice acting, which I would assume it does, I think that takes it to a whole new level.
Yeah.
Because there is a lot of reading in this game. Mm-hmm. I mean, the whole game is reading.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. And if someone read it to you, I would be a little less opted to turn it off and never turn it back on again.
Yeah.
Because there's, the tediousness might go a little bit away.
You can have Heather come in and read everything for you.
Yeah.
That'd be great. Oh, that actually right, because I wouldn't bring this episode for you brought it up on one of the episodes. Hilary, you're dyslexic. Mm-hmm. And because you were in France or whatever, sometimes they say things they're like,
yeah.
I don't know French. Were you like what? Because some of them I don't even know what some of the French words I happen to have heard and seen the word at the same time, but some of them are like, sure, I get what they're getting at, but I don't know what they're saying.
Yeah, I had to use a lot of context to figure out what they were trying to say with some of it, and then part of it got to the point where I'm like, I just don't care anymore. So I just kept okay, let's just keep going so I can move on and go to the next part.
Yeah. So I guess my last thing to touch on the title of the game it wasn't until you get the parchment and you take it to Nico's house that any Templar whatever comes into play. Because you unroll it and you're like, that has to do with Templars. And I'm like, yes, we're into the game. But you said you got even farther and there was still not much.
I mean, it's not. I mean, you're because on the parchment there's an item, okay? Because if you look at the different parts, there's one part with an item, and when you go to that museum, part of that item is there, and so I'm assuming I have to get the other part of that item, which I'm also assuming is in that castle, because someone was like desperately looking for something up there at some point. I didn't get in the castle, so I can't tell you too much about it. But I am at an old castle that was like Templar related, so I feel like there's gonna be ties to the past. It's kind of like it's like the what are those Dan Brown novels called? Anyway, Dan Brown novels where he deals with like ancient stuff and whatever. God damn it, I can't remember what it's called. It's gonna drive me insane now. I'm gonna remember after we're done recording. Regardless, it's modern day, but like it touches on these old things, but like you're not. You know, I don't think it's ever going to be like whipping people with swords, which would be kind of cool. If suddenly there's like a sword fighting part, I'd be like, wow, you should have taught me how to do this a long time ago, I feel like, because I'm going to die. But it would have been interesting, for sure. Before I get to the price list, you guys have anything else?
I doubt there's any replayability to this game because it's so railroaded.
Yeah.
Recommending it, I mean, there's a lot of people that like it. If you're into that genre, go for it. Not my cup of tea.
Yeah.
I would not recommend the Game Boy Advance.
I would not recommend the Game Boy Advance.
Yeah.
I would probably recommend the Reforged.
I think for putting on the
Even
Game Boy
having not
Advance,
played
the changes they made to make it work were good ones. But this has got to be far from the best version of the game. I mean, just visually, come on. Play it on PC if you can.
Get the Reforged. It has to be updated.
Yeah, they
in
might have
some
even
ways.
put this on other console. I'm not sure. So I feel like this has been released a number of times. So I would find something that can handle a little prettier graphics and whatnot.
Thank you, David, for another bad choice.
You know what? I do what I can. But hey, listen. We've talked this game up so much. You obviously want a copy now. So we've heard what the remaster is. What, $17.99?
It's $29.99 on sale for $17.99 currently.
Okay. Well, why would you do that, Steve? When you could buy just the cartridge of this for $6.50, or if you want it complete in box for a mere $18, or if you want it brand new, a mere $30. So the exact same price.
Wow.
Yeah. So,
this is the cheapest game we've had.
I think it might be, yeah. Which actually surprises me because it is such a unique one. And even though it wasn't for us, right? But part of a well-respected series, I'm sort of surprised that it isn't more
There's
sought
probably
after.
a lot more copies out there.
That could well be. Yeah, I don't know. But
Never even heard about it until...
I'd seen it. Like, I know there's one or two on the first PlayStation. I've just seen it around, but I've never looked into it too much because I think by the time I saw it, I was kind of done with that genre. So,
Yeah.
Okay, so we all kind of agree this probably doesn't stand up to the test of time any longer. Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
too bad. Somebody will like it, and if you are that person, you know who you are already.
Yeah.
I think.
I play the modern version.
Yeah.
If it goes on sale for 90% off, maybe I'll grab it.
Yeah, if
just
it's a
to see
few
what I'm-
bucks, I might try.
Yeah. I think $17.99 is still a little too much for me.
Oh, me too. Especially having gotten, like I said, I don't want to have to retread all the same stuff again. So unless they added a lot of new content, which I don't think they need to do, by the way. But that's I'm okay. Okay, so let's figure out what we're going to be playing next time. So this time we each had to bring 3 games that could be for any system of the ones we covered. So no PlayStation 5. Right? No, okay. And it had to have a military theme, much like before when we had military. It doesn't have to be real world military. It can be. It just has to have some kind of military trappings. I think Hilary's mad at me for that. I'm not sure. There's no Rainbow Six on our list, is what I'm saying. Sorry. All right. So, Steve, what games did you bring for us to play?
Yeah, so I didn't really get too crazy with the systems. Of the 3 games, I picked 2 systems. So the first one is for the PlayStation 2, and it is a sequel to the game a game that we've already played on this channel, and that is Suikoden 3. Suikoden 3 is my favorite game of that series that I have played. It follows 3 main characters. It changes the combat. It changes the army-wide play. It changes the base building. Your stats are interactive in different ways. It is an amazing game. And it touches on 3 of the true runes that you've heard about before, but may not have interacted too much with. So, Suikoden 3, PlayStation 2. And Suikoden 3, I will type military. One person is literally, one of their starting people is literally in the military. And then, like most Suikoden games, you're building up a revolutionary force. The second game is for the PlayStation 1, and this is kind of a wink at something that's coming up, and that is Final Fantasy Tactics. I thought it would be cool to, if we do pick it, it'll release right around the time that Final Fantasy Tactics Remastered comes out, so, you know, get a lot of clicks. But the game itself is great and is like top of the line for its time for the PlayStation 1. Obviously, you are in kind of a similar situation where you're building up a revolutionary force, and there's also other forces going at each other. It's based on real life, loosely based on real life events. You're familiar with like War of the Rose in England, about the different families splitting up and stuff like that. So that's my second choice. Obviously, those are both my good choices. I shied away from Battleship. I really don't want to play that. I picked a modern bad game. I'm not positive that this is a bad game. I just know that I have played it before. It's for the PlayStation 1. And what I remember about it, because I was probably in my teens, mid-teens when I played it for the first time, I was just getting into the tabletop version of the game. And I was like, oh, cool. This is like a game similar that I can play solo. I just remember it being fairly tedious in the controls, and maybe it would be a better game on PC, but we'll see if we pick it. And that, of course, is... I forgot the name of it. I know it's Warhammer.
That, of course, is something.
Do you have the name of it? It's Warhammer.
Shadow of the Horned Rat.
Yeah, Shadow of the Horned Rat. I believe that's correct.
Yep.
And that is based on the fantasy version. Rest in peace. I guess now they have Old World.
Yeah.
But those are my 3 picks.
I do love me some Warhammer Fantasy. But
And those are literally army scale fighting.
Go for it, Hilary. What did you bring for us?
I also went with basically 2 systems, so...
Curious to see how she swings Lion King into this.
My first one is Star Fox 64 for the N64. That's pretty sci-fi military style game. My next pick is... 2 picks are for the PlayStation 1. First one is going to be Final Fantasy VIII. When I think about the Final Fantasy games, that one reads the most military-esque to me, since it's a little bit more futuristic military versus Renaissance military. It's actually also my first Final Fantasy game. And looking through the different Final Fantasies, the jump in graphics for 8 versus 7, and even though like I feel like even 9, like the graphics kind of went a little bit backwards, not really backwards, but a little bit more cartoonish, where 8 was a lot more realistic. And it was also my first game that had multiple discs. So it's like, and I feel like 8 doesn't get as much love as a lot of the other more modern Final Fantasy games. So
I feel like I never gave it a fair shot. I got into it probably not because I hate it. I just think I just got distracted by something and I got barely into it. So
so it's a game that I
started it, but I remember my friends loving it.
Yeah, it's a game that I really love, but I very rarely hear people talking about. So I think it'd be kind of fun to bring that back into the highlight. And then my last pick is going to be Army Men Sarge's Heroes 2. The reason why I picked that one over, there's actually a lot of Army Men game out there. The reason why I picked this one over some of the other ones is that it looked a little bit more like you're playing as the toys versus some of the other ones looked like it was basically just the toy skin on a military game, where this one, like the video I watched, you were actually like playing on like a dining room table, and so it amused me.
Do they have their bases on them?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
I think I played this, and correct me if I'm wrong, for the N64. I think they had a.
Yeah, is that the version you picked?
I picked
No.
the PS1 version, but it was for the N64. It was on a few different systems, so.
Yeah,
Yeah, those came out on everything.
that's crazy. Is there a reason? Probably it's just more upgraded, but the reason that you picked Star Fox for the 64 as opposed to the SNES?
That's the one that I'm the most familiar with, and just graphic-wise is the one I picked, so.
All right, so my picks. I picked Hogs of War, which is a turn-based strategy game. It's kind of like Worms. If you played the Worms game, but in 3D, you are pigs in military outfits shooting machine guns and bazookas at each other. It came out, I was working at GameStop at the time. It came out as a budget title. It was either $20 or $10. I can't remember now because it's been quite a few years. So it's just not very polished. It's kind of humorous. I don't know if it holds up for a long time playing it. I checked it out once, but I didn't play it that much. So, but yeah, maybe it's all right.
Is that your bad pick?
Yeah, it's my bad.
Oh, okay. I was like,
Yeah,
we all
I
left
mean-
our bad pick for last.
I mean, it could be.
I was like, where is he going with this?
That's how it's starting.
I Now for the garb. No, I have them in a random order, and I'm just scrolling down and finding
No
one.
worries.
That's
No
all.
worries.
All right. The next one, Dragon Force on the Sega Saturn. This is one of my favorite strategy games I think I've played. And the reason why I had to squeeze it into this list for sure, one, I mean, it does fit the theme. You are playing as a kingdom. You're moving armies across the map and trying to take over others or make alliances with others. It's fantastic. But if we ever were to pull Sega Saturn strategy games, there's just not that many. So chances are we'd have to re-roll that and try to find something else. And this game is, the lights are bright.
What?
The lights shine upon Dragon Force. It's a little tough to get started on. Like, I remember the first time I tried to play it, and I'm like, I don't know what the hell I'm doing in this game. But once you do, and it doesn't take that much once you get past that first barrier, it is so good. Amazing amount of sprites on the screen when you get into the battles, which are sort of real time. It's a stunning game. Really fantastic. And there's like something like 7 or 8 different kingdoms you can choose to start with, each with their own strength, their own unit types.
Is this like a, what do they call it, real life strategies? Like StarCraft?
No, it's not real time in that sense. The battles is like you'll have your general, the generals will be on each side of the map, and you'll have all your troops like in front of you. You can put them in a formation, and they'll basically run at each other, and depending on your formation and your troop types versus their troop types,
So it's like the Warhammer game that I picked,
it's easier to control by a lot.
which is why it's on your good pick and
It is.
mine's on my bad pick.
If we had to pick like one amazing pick, one good pick, and one bad pick, this would be an amazing pick. And then my last one is Valkyria Chronicles 2 on the PSP. This is a sequel to Valkyria Chronicles on the PlayStation 3. This game is set in an alternate history, vaguely. The first one was 1933. This is a few years later. And it's anime art, but it also looks like watercolor paintings. It's a mix between turn-based and real-time, so you'll do take turns moving, but then when it's your turn to move a specific troop, you can run them around the screen, you can get behind cover, you can shoot. Your enemies could be on Overwatch, essentially, and shoot at you while you're running if you're not careful. It's gorgeous. This one has a little bit more of a lighthearted feel than the first one, even though that one wasn't super dark either, but because it somehow mixes you're at war versus your students in a school. I don't know, man. Japanese RPGs. But it's beautiful. It sounds like the transition from the PS3 to PS3, actually, they did really well. I have not played this one, and I would love to see it because that's one of those games that is so unique and I think worth shining a spotlight on because the one on PS3 was so good and had very little marketing. I don't think that many people paid attention, and that is a crime because it was so good. But those are my picks. So let's get to we're going to vote. Each of us will choose a game we're going to vote for. That'll give it another chance on the randomizer. So we're just boosting the chances a little bit. Let's see. Who do we start with? Steve? Did you want to vote first?
Sure. I will say I almost picked, was it Advanced Wars? Have you played that
I thought
game?
about that too.
But I couldn't remember what it was for except for the Game Boy Advance, and I wanted to step away because we just did the Game Boy Advance. So
yeah.
that almost made it because that's a great military.
It's on the Switch as well.
Right. It's on a lot of the Nintendo handheld consoles, and I wasn't really positive which ones we had, and could come up again.
I had trouble narrowing down this list. There were so many that I wanted to put on there, but I'm just like, I gotta.
Yeah.
So okay.
I am going to vote for. Oh my god. Vote for all of them.
Hogs of War.
I mean, that game does sound interesting. I feel like I wouldn't be mad if that was the bad pick. Yeah. I feel like a lot of our stuff has been bad picks, anyways.
Yeah,
but,
we've had a lot lately. It goes against statistics, but go ahead.
I'm going to go with Final Fantasy Tactics, and I'm going to go with that just for it'd be a good review of the differences once the new one comes out and stuff.
Yep.
And it's a great game.
All right.
I agree. I'm going to go with Tactics too.
Oh boy, here we go. Okay. I'm actually very tempted to do the same, but I have to go with Dragon Force because I want to cover it someday on this channel. And I just don't know. It's going to be harder to land on the possibility to put that in there.
It would be nice to see if it is similar to like the Warhammer game. It would be nice to see how that game could be done better.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, should be noted that there is no Kids Corner this week.
Yeah.
I bet Vinny would have voted for Star Fox.
You probably didn't. Last time when it was possible.
Yeah.
Oh. This wasn't probably a game that kids would get real into. I don't think the story would appeal. I don't think the gameplay would appeal.
Honestly, the Hogs of War and was Sarge's the Artyman your bad pick?
Yeah.
I wouldn't be mad at that one.
I don't really hate any of these possibilities. I remember the Army War games were really big when I was working at GameStop, and for some reason they just never called out to me. But a lot of people loved them. It was that's why they made like 500 of them. It's a popular series, so I would be willing to get past my initial not caring to try it. I don't know. We'll see. Something's gonna happen.
I don't know.
You're pausing for a long time.
No, I just realized that I put somehow I put the wrong description for this game in. So, but I don't have a description, but that's okay because this is one, a few of these had quotes. So I'm going to give you the quote. I want to see if you guys can guess which game this is. And if you're wrong, you're off the podcast. Okay, here we go. I'm just kidding. The cries of war will sound the day. We stand before the dawn of a new world. There are no clues in that sentence. So you have no idea what it was. So if you picked it, some of these did have good clues, but...
I mean, I guess it's one of your picks since you're...
It sounds like it could be Warhammer.
It does sound like it, but it's not.
Good.
So this game...
I'm good with any of the other.
I'm going to go from memory. This game was released by Working Designs in the year somewhere between 1996 and 2000. In this game, you can pick between, 7 to 8 different possible nations, and you'll be going to war across a fantasy landscape. We're going to be playing Dragon Force, yay, for the Sega Saturn. I am so excited.
Rigged. That's why I didn't want me to look.
I will say, folks, if you decide to play this with us, either look up rules online or maybe a video on how to just get started. Once you get moving, it's fine, but at first it's going to be like, what am I doing? So, once you get going, it's awesome. Also, look at the rulebook because it'll tell you which troops are good against which other kinds of troops, which is vital knowledge, but it's fantastic. I'm so excited. You look worried, Hilary.
No button mashing.
Yeah, there's no button mashing, I don't think. You can do it if you want, though. Okay, so should we figure out what kind of games we're going to need to bring for the next episode?
Yep. Sounds good.
All right, let's find out.
Dreamcast.
Oh, boy. All right, so it's going to be a Dreamcast game. Let's find out what kind. This is our first Dreamcast game. That's exciting. Yeah.
I technically played a Dreamcast game.
Did you? Oh, yeah, that's right. You played Twinkle Star Sprites under. Wow. All right, cheater. Okay. All right, so first we pulled puzzle games. There's not really very many on Dreamcast. If we have to re-roll 3 times and we get genres that are not represented on the Dreamcast, then we're just going to pick any Dreamcast game. That's what we do.
Sounds good.
All right, so next one. 6.
Sports.
Sports. There are sports games.
There's got to be sports games.
There are sports games on the Dreamcast. Okay.
That's going
to be interesting. That's our favorite genre of all. It's not. But
on a system that I'm not too familiar with. That's interesting.
I will not be picking any of them, but if you like football games, their 2K or whatever it was series was considered a genuine competition for the Madden games. And their 2K series in general, I don't like any of the sports they do them for, so I probably won't pick it. But if you're inclined, there it is. So Dreamcast sports games. This is going to be interesting. I have some ideas in mind already. Amazingly enough.
Football, baseball, hockey.
Those are all the sports, you guys. That's all that there is. So that's what we're going to bring next time. Dreamcast sports games. Wow, we're going to be out of our element, possibly. It's going to be fun. So, all right. Dreamcast sports games, Dragon Force. Play with us. As we've said before, get into our Facebook community or Discord. All those links are going to be in the description for this episode. And let us know if there's games you'd like us to cover, because one of our randomizations is fan picks. And so if there's a game you want us to get into, your best shot is getting it in there, and then it'll be randomized when that pops up for us.
Yep.
So we've got a few already. So you want to get in early, because the earlier you get in there, the better chance you have of getting your game talked about. And you can punish us if you hate us. You can give us a terrible game. You can give us your favorite game. Whatever,
Tapeworm Disco Puzzle.
Tapeworm Disco Puzzle on the Sega Dreamcast. System Seller, right there. Maybe. That sounds disgusting. It really sounds gross, man. I don't know what that is. I don't even know.
It's Earthworm Jim's cousin.
That makes total sense. Yeah. Okay, well, it's going to be our first Dreamcast game, so we're going to see how that goes. You guys have anything else to add?
Not that I can think of.
Okay, great. Well, make sure you subscribe. Give us a rating if you would. If you love us, give us 5 stars. If you hate us, give us 5 stars. And we will see you here next time. Bye.
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 To paraphrase their review of Broken Sword, game has words. Reading hard. Me no like reading. Ugga. Hopefully, if there are numbers on jerseys next episode, it won't confuse them too much.